I don't even know how to begin this retrospective. Not there.
The next Dying Light is almost there.
No, not that way.
Seen a dog anywhere?
I haven't seen any dogs around here.
Definitely not there. I'm usually a glass half full kind of person, but today I am not. After playing Dying Light 1, my expectations coming into the second game were mixed. Even though the original game story had its ups and downs, I still enjoyed the B-movie schlock that helped it feel fun. Lines were quotable, the narrative didn't take itself too seriously, while also having moments that stuck with me. All of that enveloped in some of the best gameplay mechanics and items I've encountered. That being the parkour movement tied to the progression system and the all-so-glorious grappling hook. Praise it, praise it. So coming into Dying Light 2, I wasn't expecting the Godfather levels of writing, more along the lines of something filled with a bit of narrative intrigue, engaging gameplay that added onto what the first game accomplished, and a semblance of polish that sequels should strive for. Oh boy, oh boy. I got 1 out of 3, and that's being cordial. Dying Light 2 was a hard game to write about. On one hand, it, like its predecessor, has some of the best engaging gameplay mechanically. I could run around the city of Villedor for hours, jumping around rooftops, evading zombies, unlocking new areas through exploration, and drop-kicking every enemy I could. There was a sense of accomplishment customizing your character with different gear to align how you wanted to play the game, which scratched the RPG side of my brain just enough. Leveling up Aiden felt rewarding, not only from the skills you could get, but how you had to do it. Discovering the world, delving into the dark and scary areas I didn't dream of going into during the first iteration. Then there is the other hand, the bloody, calloused, and broken other hand of the story and pacing, filled with so many inconsistencies, plot holes, and horrible direction that it sadly detracts so much from the overall gameplay that, by the end, I just wanted the whole experience to be over. There were no crane moments, no I was just a parkour instructor, no contrast to the brutal world which made the first game shine. Dying Light 2 seemingly tried to be more serious but never reached the point of me caring for that ambition because of the lack of execution. You know the feeling when you watch a 3-hour film and think to yourself it could have been an hour and a half? That's Dying Light 2. What's even weirder is that there were portions that were well made, most notably the prologue in the first third of the game that had some fantastic moments where my heart was racing and my dopamine drip was accelerating. Yet there are 2/3 of the game left, and that felt like they were written by 5 different writers in different continents playing telephone with the plot, characters, or even the main protagonist's motivations and the villain's screen time. Again, not all of the game is terrible. I did enjoy some of the characters that you meet along your journey, certain side quests had interesting ramifications, and most of the level designs were well thought out. Yet what good there was throughout my 30-hour journey slowly and painfully ebbed away for many reasons. I don't usually look at other reviews before writing the script, but after the ending, which confused me, I was interested to see what others had to say, and it validated my feelings towards the experience. Eric Switzer's review, Less Would Have Been More, is a great title and truly encapsulates the game into one sentence. There is just so much filler without substance that it makes Garlic Jr.'s arc in Dragon Ball feel like it deserves an enemy. It wasn't just reviewers either, many on Reddit commented on the ending and its lack of clarity, so I wasn't alone. To help me navigate the somewhat fever dream that was induced playing this game, I've created a handy graph showing the progression of 3 different emotions going through the main campaign: frustration, intrigue, and confusion. And that's what we're here to do. Analyze the gameplay mechanics, the visual landscape, auditory soundscape, and God help me, the narrative, to see what Dying Light 2 does right, and what it does very, very wrong. There's a lot to talk about, so let's get started.
The smallest flap of a butterfly's wings may set catastrophe in motion.
Dying Light 2 starts out with this neat intro scene depicting the events of the first game. If you didn't play Dying Light 1, don't worry. All you need to know is the GRE are evil scientists with sketchy military ties, and they've been experimenting on people since day one. The intro continues describing the state of the world, it's foobarred, and there are people called pilgrims who transport items or information to the last settlements of humanity, the biggest being Villedor. Watching the scene, I couldn't help but think it looked a little bit like the Stalker series, and this won't be the last time, but we'll get there much later on. So, a pretty good premise, I was excited to jump in, and then after fiddling with the settings, this guy pops up.
The moment we've all been waiting for has arrived. The next Dying Light is almost there.
The beast is probably out by the time this video has been published, but something irks me a little bit that there is an ad before I even hopped into the game. This was my first playthrough of Dying Light 2, and for reference, this is the Reloaded edition, which should have smoothed out a bunch of stuff that plagued the game at launch. Seeing an ad for the new game, I questioned for a second if this was even worth playing, but we forge on. We get another explanation about what happened, the year is 2036, zombies are everywhere, and don't go out at night. We're also introduced to our main protagonist, Aiden, who sounds weirdly similar to Crane. Was this just me?
The city is consumed by chaos, and its total collapse is a matter of days.
He's on a mission to find his sister Mia and recover the city's secrets before it's consumed by chaos, which, how the heck does he know the city is about to collapse? Oh gosh, this is going to be a long one. Off the bat, Dying Light 2 is beautiful, extremely beautiful. From the lighting to the environmental design, I was always blown away by what they accomplished, and it ran perfectly on my machine. Aiden meets up with Spike, an old friend and pilgrim buddy who happens to be by this roadside, and the two venture into the tutorial path. We learn to jump, climb, and pick honey for crafting bandages. Spike shows Aiden this abandoned mansion where we get the basic loop. Go into an area, search for loot, but this is where the game shined early on. You discover with your Witcher senses, zombie senses, that this mansion was host to a party after the virus had gone rampant, meaning these people were celebrating the end times. Seeing the bones of the party goers placed around the area evoked a lot of emotion, whether it was finding notes that they had left for loved ones, or even staying by each other while they consciously overdosed. This was heavy and poignant for 10 minutes into the game. Spike and Aiden talk while looking at this vista, and Spike references Crane. Reference alert, but I don't know how he would have known him or why it matters other than just the name dropping for the people that played the first game.
At least until night falls.
True. I wish Crane could have seen this.
Who?
Doesn't matter.
The two discuss their occupation of being a pilgrim and make it very clear that people do not trust them. My guess is because they're more prone to getting infected while going from place to place, or if you survive for that long, you might have smashed a few heads, and not just zombie ones. Spike then tells Aiden that some mysterious person has requested he contact him over the radio, and we have to make it to that convenient radio tower a few clicks north. While parting ways, Spike mentions that he hopes Aiden finds someone named Waltz in the city as well, and my intrigue was there. A search for her sister, another person we have to find, and a mysterious informer. Cool. We start making our way to the radio tower, learning we can jump into water unharmed at any height, fight some zombies which felt satisfying, and parkour our way up the mountain. Nighttime has already fallen, and for someone that was spooked by the nighttime in Dying Light 1, I was already out of my comfort zone, and the damn generator needs to be turned on.
What the hell is that?
Yeah, so these fast zombie variations sent a shiver down my spine, but also are an important part of the personal progression system of the game. You start off with almost nothing, and even common enemies can give you grief. But as you play more of the game, the zombies, even at night, start to get easier to deal with on a gameplay level and a mental one too. We batch up these guys, turn on the generator, and wait for the sunrise. Oh, what's happening? A flashback?
Aiden, Papa Aiden. Are we running or what?
But, like, now?
No, when we're old. No, Edie.
We need supplies.
We're transported to either a memory or dream of Aiden's childhood. Both he and his sister Mia seem to be test subjects, and I'm assuming that it's the GRE experimenting on them. I usually play with subtitles on, for myself if the audio mixing is a bit scrambled, and for you, the viewer, to read during the cutscenes I talk over. In this instance, it shares information sooner than the visuals. Waltz, the person we're presumably looking for as well as Mia, is here in the lab and is asking about some compound 12346. Aiden telling Mia that they've identified each other by the markings from their experiments was a neat writing touch. They share a bond, even if horribly deranged. We then see Waltz giving us some random shot, a fire in the lab, and the two being separated. The morning comes and we make contact with the informant who asks us why we're looking for Waltz specifically. Aiden divulges that he thinks Waltz has Mia. How Waltz and Mia would have survived the apocalypse, who knows. The informant drops the exposition line that we're different because of whatever shot Waltz gave us in the lab and that he can confirm Mia is alive. We're told where to meet this mysterious fellow and Aiden sets out. Wow, someone read Nietzsche. I really enjoyed the feeling of this beginning, starting out in the woods and slowly making our way to this gigantic walled city. You're not explicitly told yet it's sealed off, but the informant mentions that this tunnel we're headed to is the only exit left. And again, the start of the game does horror so well. Entering the metro tunnels and seeing the bodies and blood strewn around was extremely terrifying. Dying Light 2 makes you have to deal with these places a lot, while in the first game, there were only a couple of instances which you had to deal with the darkness.
Oh my god. Oh shit.
A volatile attacks us and we've been bitten. Looks like we'll be needing Antacin. Oh wait, that's for later.
Are you alright?
Fucker bit me.
A volatile. Lots of those fuckers in the sewers. You must get into the light quickly.
Aiden passes out, which, oh my god, happened so many times to advance the plot that it became a trope in my playthrough. Some group called the Renegades finds us and takes our informant away, asking where he hid some key, and we go after them.
Where did you hide our key, boy?
I don't know what you're talking about. Let him go.
With those guys disposed of, our informant who's in bad shape gives us this magical key which turns out to be made by the GRE. And if Waltz gets the key, everyone will die. The informant also gives us a task to find the fisheye within the city and a girl named Lawan, who should help us. With Waltz and his goons a room away, the informant tricks Aiden into getting into the vent, and this is kind of a brutal cutscene.
Before 0 hour, my grandfather raised horses. Beautiful rare breeds. I love them dearly. One day his most beloved horse fell off the slope and broke his leg. I thought Grandpa would help him, but he just pulled out his pistol and put it in my hand. He told me, "You're doing it for him." Then he pressed my finger on the trigger. I screamed. I wanted my grandfather to die. But years later, I realized what must be done must be done.
I thought this was a great introduction to Waltz. You can see he doesn't look particularly human with the veins on his arms, and we get a fun villain monologue introduction to his character.
Someone's here.
In the vent! Get it!
I guess they got a lot of feedback from one of the final chase scenes from the first game, which I loved. We're running like hell to evade Waltz and his renegades. Unfortunately, I got my ick an hour into the game, swimming through water. The thought of going through this greenish cesspool of contaminated water was a no on my bingo card. What was a yes in my eyes were these interior designs. I loved that it felt like this place was some forgotten church made in the Middle Ages, and even though Villedor is a made-up city, I think we're supposed to be in Europe, which has a lot of these discovered or undiscovered areas. Aiden finds a ladder which leads to some settlement, but it seems like we're turning fast. Passing out numero 2.
Who the fuck is this?
He doesn't have a biomarker.
Oh, what?
Fuck.
He's fucking turning!
Kill him! Quick!
For some reason, this dude Hakon attempts to save us, even though everyone else is pretty adamant about smashing our brain in, with good reason. Why Hakon does this? Well, that's for later, and it brings with it a lot of inconsistencies. Hakon takes us to another place, we're injected by something called an inhibitor, and get knocked out again. Wow, we're really up to 3 already. We're told that we need to find a biomarker, this wristband that is the latest craze, showing the progression of the infection, sort of a concert pass to get into settlements. Hakon tells us he knows where to find one, but also questions the marks on our arms and if we're truly a pilgrim or just stole it from some poor soul. Leaving the workshop, we get this great view of the interior of the city, and going from the darkness of that room to the blinding setting sun reminded me of stepping out of the vault in Fallout 3. Hakon explains that to reach the fisheye, we'll need to go through some tunnel that's highly guarded since all other ways have been blocked off with some chemical dump that'll kill us in seconds if we step foot on it. But none of that matters if we don't get the biomarker, so we head off.
I could help you, but you need a biomarker. You won't get far without it.
We get some exposition about our new companion, how he was ex-Special Forces, but after turning his back on them, they nuked his bank account and he had to resort to driving a cab. He also mentions that he has a soft spot for pilgrims since one had saved him in the past, so I guess that's why he's helping us? We're also told about these crystals that certain folk think help stem the infection and only started growing after the chemical dump, which, I wouldn't want them near me, but to each their own. Before we get into the building that has the biomarker, Aiden is introduced to the Peacekeepers, one of the factions in Villedor, and they're the ones that control the tunnel. Hakon isn't a big fan of them since they protect the Bazaar, the place we first came up from, but with an iron fist. On the rooftop of this GRE building, we find a crate that's been looted, but our eyes are sharp and we try the key the informant gave us and it works. This surprises Hakon since he hasn't seen working GRE equipment in years, and I want you to remember this moment, for reasons. But it's nightfall and the creepies are out to play. Aiden is quickly turning and Hakon says that we'll need to find a UV lamp to stop the progression of the disease. Now the confusion meter goes up a bit. Even if we got the biomarker, that doesn't mean we won't turn, it's just described as a method of seeing how far the infection has gotten. Also, there were UV lights in the first game that didn't stop the infection at all, and no one has mentioned antizin yet. Regardless, the two parkour their way to the Bazaar.
Over there, toward the light. Can you hear that?
Unfortunately, the Bazaar won't let us in because we don't have the concert pass, biomarker, and we have to find another person named Killian. I really enjoyed them putting the player into the nighttime so quickly. The sense of dread not having any skills or even knowing the layout of the map was genius. Hakon pleads with Killian to let us in, which takes time, and we have to defend the point from the zombie hordes, which gives us a good time to talk about their design. There are a lot of variations of the zombies, not just mechanically, but visually. I enjoyed that you could tell who was a former peacekeeper based on their armor and who was just a poor sod with clothes withered away. Plus, the details from attacking them with different weapons causing different injuries was a chef's kiss. This game is brutal when it comes to combat. Bones crunch, heads fly, it's pretty glorious, and I hope the YouTube censorship battalion doesn't come down hard on it. Finally, after Hakon's pleas, Killian helps us out by turning on the UV lights that the zombies hate, and after showing him the military tech we took from the crate, allows us in.
Where did you... That's rare. Invite us in, or it'll get even more rare.
Just like Dying Light 1, the interiors of most places were great. Seeing how Killian survives and likes to pickle things, it made it tangible. We try to sleep off the night and have another dream about Mia saying, "Find me." At this point I wondered if she had some telepathic powers or some crazy Resident Evil plot device, but we're awakened by a radio call from Hakon, telling us that we'll need to search the hospital for the biomarker. How we haven't turned already is beyond me, but oh well, off to the scary place. Or so I thought, since before we can even leave, a feedback poll came up. What they're doing with this information 4 years after the initial release, no idea, and it shows up periodically throughout the campaign. Aiden makes his way to the hospital, and again, even though this stuff scares the you-know-what out of me, I applaud the developers for making the player experience these moments so early into the game in comparison to the first one. Maybe I enjoyed these moments so much because they were slower, more methodical than what I was expecting, the fast-paced parkour and zombie smashing. Exploring deeper into the hospital, Aiden gets flashbacks of Mia and divulges to Hakon that this place reminds him of the lab he was tested in, which Hakon has a funny retort.
I'm having these memories. The person I'm looking for is Mia. She's my sister. I told you about Waltz before.
mentioned something. Yeah.
I don't know. It's all mixed up in my head.
You suppressed the memory. Like I did of my third wife. Look, I'm sure the infection ain't helping.
Speaking of methodical, the next portion was intense. I guess the zombies need their beauty sleep too, and we have to stealth through the cluster of them. You have to play this to truly experience the fear, because one false step and you'd be ganged up on. It plays into the subversion of expectations I had coming into the game. Of course something bad happens and the two are separated while also making a lot of noise. We're introduced to the inhibitor system, which is how we upgrade Aiden's health and stamina throughout the game, but I also guess it stops the infection spreading since that's what Hakon injected us with in the workshop. We run into Mr. Volatile snooping around, grab the inhibitor, and get back to Hakon for the biomarker, which hurts like hell.
Sorry about this.
What? Sorry about what?
About that. On behalf of all its whores, bandits, and idiots, I christen you a citizen of Villedor. Fuck. You're about to turn.
Now, I said in the beginning that this game was hard to write about. What I meant is the way the narrative plays out is almost always go from point A to point B, something either happens going to point B or going back to point A, get to point A, and then repeat. I might start to sound like I'm repeating myself, but I'll do my best to try to alleviate this type of writing. The confusion meter starts ascending again. Even though we took the inhibitor like a minute ago, we're close to turning, but it saved us from turning the first time. Hakon tells us to book it into the light, and we have a pretty tense chase scene with the snooping Volatile. Wait, how did Hakon make it outside? Characters just tend to appear without explanation. Hakon might be a wizard, but we'll get to that at the end. The two discuss what would happen if Aiden found his sister and where Hakon would want to live if he could get out of the city, somewhere by the ocean. Hakon sounded sincere when talking about his aspirations, and Aiden says yes to the deal. We find Mia, escape with Hakon, and find somewhere near the ocean. Picturesque. Why Hakon doesn't think to check the tunnel we came from in the Bazaar, well, that's another question, and he seems pretty good at keeping himself alive as well. The conversation continues with Hakon explaining that the Peacekeeper commander was recently murdered and that they've blocked the tunnel we need to get to the fisheye, but has a plan in mind to outsmart them. Finally, after 2 hours, the tutorial is done and we get the okay to explore the map. Just like in the first game, you're pushed into finding safe houses around the map, which now are windmills with climbing puzzles to solve, and unlock new traders, quests, and most importantly, somewhere safe to sleep at night. It's a fun concept for the first 10 hours of the game, but by the time you're in the mid-game, unlocking the windmills or power plants becomes a bit tedious. Exploring Villedor is the main draw to the game, and even though it does become repetitive like the windmills, I can't understate the feelings I had during the first couple of hours. Whether it was taking on renegade squads, buying stuff from traders, or find these poignant moments like the cremation happening, it made the world feel lived in.
To thy realm, a child which, according to your mysterious plan, you have taken from us to protect her in your bosom.
After doing all that fun stuff, we gain access to the Bazaar, and again, I was blown away by the design of this place. I loved the church aesthetic and seeing how people lived in this apocalyptic place. Growing vegetables, taking care of livestock, it felt real. Regardless of the video game tropes of having merchants selling all the stuff you need. Hakon radios us to meet with him and explains the plan of accessing the tunnel. He'll cause a diversion and we stealth our way through. What could go wrong? Aiden sneaks through loads of zombies, killing a few on the way, and gains access to the Peacekeeper base while Hakon distracts the guards with bartering. But as we approach the airlock to the tunnel system, we get knocked out. That's number 4.
Hey, what are you doing here?
We wake up to the Peacekeepers discussing our affiliation, and Aitor, the leader of the Peacekeepers in this region, taking the good cop approach to our predicament. Aiden tells Aitor about his search for his sister, and he proposes the two help each other. If we can find the killer who took Commander Lucas's life, he'll unlock the tunnel and let us into the center of the city. He also explains some of the politics going on within Old Villedor, how the peacekeepers are meant to quote-unquote protect the populace, but those damn Bazaar folk keep revolting. I was getting the sense that the peacekeepers weren't the good guys, but Ador seems chill. Our first clue in finding the killer is learning anything we can about the Lazarus, Commander Lucas's signature brass knuckle weapon. Meeting back up with Hakon, we tell him of our predicament and he informs us of a fence who might have some information on the Lazarus, and we search out for him. After chasing this guy across rooftops, we finally manage to corner him and he confirms that someone named Maya tried to sell him the brass knuckles. So off we go to point B. See what I mean? I was surprised to find out that Maya wasn't a ruffian or some crazed renegade, but a girl, and this place had me thinking about the side quest from the first game. Even though this felt a bit like filler, I did enjoy the details of the child's room, that being the photos of what I assume to be the families of these kids. It shows that everyone has lost people to this plague. I also thought it was a neat detail that anytime Aiden talks to kids, he gets on one knee to be eye level with them. As a former teacher, it made me think about what Aiden's experiences were previously on the road. Maya does have the Lazarus, and we pay her a fair bit of coin for it, since she exclaims that no one would buy it off of her and she wants to buy her brother a biomarker for his birthday. With the weapon in hand, we head back to Ader, who is impressed with our searching skills but denies us entry, saying it's above his pay grade to open the tunnel. Then why the hell did you say you could? But Central Command wants the killer found, and Ador does this monologue about wanting to protect his family in the center, which made me trust him a little bit more. At least both of us had a reason to open the tunnel gates, so we're detectiving again. Is that a word? Ador explains that the killer took a trophy from Lucas as well. They carved off his tattoo, which, Jesus Christ, that's pretty messed up. So I guess if we find a lump of flesh sitting around someone's apartment, they're probably the killer. Ador also doesn't want a total war exploding between the Bazaar and the PK, and thinks if we could find the killer and solely pin it on them, the tensions between the two factions would dissipate. Aiden's first stop is the Bazaar to meet with Carl and Sophie, the pseudo-leaders of the Bazaar faction. Every time someone named Carl is in zombie media, I immediately think of The Walking Dead and those stupid memes. No, just me? Anyways, Aiden makes it to the Bazaar but is confronted by this douchebag, told not to trust the PKs, and then slinks away. We'll get more time with him later. For now, we're led into the Bazaar even though we already were here before and meet up with Carl.
Who would have thought? A pilgrim in the Bazaar. Welcome.
Carl seems to be chill and talks about community amongst other things I wouldn't expect in a zombie apocalypse, but is also concerned about finding Lucas's killer because the whole Bazaar are prime suspects in the PK's eyes. He tells us where to find Sophie and, oh, hi Herman.
Don't hurt him, Herman. Let him talk.
Before helping us out with any information she knows about the murder, she tasks us with a small errand, and this starts the slow descent into the bad game design. Almost every quest going forward could be cut down if it wasn't for the quest givers tasking Aiden with finding something before advancing the plot. This time it's to find crystals for a reason Sophie won't divulge. You might be saying, that's a quest, do something for someone, get the info or reward, yet that only works if the rewards are rewarding, and you actually care about the people you're helping. I'll mention it more as we get farther along, but this is where the game starts to fluster or begin its bloating. On the flip side, there is one awesome side quest that we get while walking into the Bazaar called Missing Persons, which we'll hit up next. For now, we talk with the craftsman who say Barney, Sophie's brother, already went after the crystals, and when we tell her that, she's not too pleased.
Barney, answer me. Barney! So that's why he's gone offline. He's looking for the crystals on his own and throwing a wrench in the works yet again.
After some back and forth, we agree to find Barney and the crystals. This mission is called A Nighttime Story, and again, this is a good way of making the player interact with the more dangerous side of the game. There are certain areas and missions that will only be available at nighttime when the zombies are strongest. For myself personally, I had to get over my fear of chases and dark corridors. Getting to the area was easy enough, but the first body we find isn't Barney's but Kojak's. We use our Witcher senses to find Barney's footprints leading upstairs, and turns out He's still an ass regardless of the situation.
Hey, Sophie sent me.
Yeah, right. And I'm a PK general. Whoever you are, fuck off! These are our crystals. You get it? You won't get them.
Barney, open up.
Fuck off.
Sophie, I found Barney, but he's locked himself in a room.
He's alive. Good. A stubborn fucker. Just try and talk to him.
Barney tells us that we need to look for Birdie, another of the group that diverted the zombies away from the location, and since Barney looks worse for wear, we have to do it. Of course. So we find Birdie, who is like 2 houses down and is pretty injured. This would have been a sad moment if I didn't hate Barney already, or had known Birdie before. But even worse is Sophie's defense of her brother, who in the time we took to find Birdie snuck away with the crystals.
Barney's here already. Just arrived.
He... what? He was supposed to...
Didn't trust you. He thought you wanted to take the crystals.
But he sent me to check on his friend so he could sneak away?
It's not like that. Come back to the bazaar. I'll explain everything.
Where's Sophie?
You again? What are you doing? Spying on me?
What is this line even? We already said that we were sent by your sister and then you asked us to find your friend. Like, Jesus Christ. Sophie gives us the rundown on Barney's tragic story, but again, we're in the literal apocalypse. Everyone has lost somebody, right? Why does that give Barney the right to leave his friends to die and act like a jackass? I really despise Barney. Another thing that doesn't make sense to me is Sophie telling us that the bazaar is dying, literally saying that they'll be dead within the month because there isn't enough water, but hasn't told anyone because it could cause a panic. Lady, you realize there is a sign when you come in that says, no water. Also, remember this moment because the game is trying to tell the player that the bazaar is on the back foot to the PKs, which contradicts a major plot point maybe an hour later in the game. Sophie also mentions some warlords that took over the local water plant, and guess what? We have to go there. What happened to figuring out Lucas's killer? Or Aiden's search for Waltz and Mia? This is a video game, you have to do video game things, and Aiden's sole intent was to find those two, now has to jump through all these hoops. But he never seems angry, frustrated, any type of emotion other than blandness. It makes Crane's inflections seem like a Shakespeare actor. Sophie also explains that the crystals Barney got were for extortion money that the Water Tower warlords require each week, but the group meant to trade with them got attacked and we have to investigate it. I wanted to feel something after the great start to the game, so I decided I wasn't going to go straight to the ambush and instead do the side mission, Missing Persons, to see if it affected the story at all in an interesting way. It kind of did. The dude that gives us the quest says that his partners need new people to help with business. Not the most intriguing catalyst, but whatever. Knocking on the door, this happy fellow answers and Aiden tells him he's here for the business. The main guy asks if we're new in town, and I had the sneaking suspicion that something was amiss.
You're new around here.
Damien asked that too. What difference does it make?
Boss asked a question.
Now, I'm still trying to figure out why I'm here. Yeah, you're the one dancing around the subject.
Okay. Let's talk about the job then. To do it, it's best that you're not all that well known around the bazaar.
Well, I wouldn't say I'm all that well known.
That's good. That's very good.
Looks like we finally found our missing person.
Wait, what are you talking about? What do you want from me?
Let's just say we work for someone that's dying to meet you. Except he won't be the one dying, I don't think.
Ah, the intrigue level heightens. As I was slowly losing hope about the main quest, a side quest comes along that has implications. Mainly because Waltz probably has made the call to action of finding Aiden, or at least the new person that has the GRE key. After defeating the bandits, we catch up with Damien, who is adamant that he didn't know what they were planning to do with us, and was coerced into helping them because they captured his brother. I was interested in knowing more about the people that tried to capture us and if Damien was telling the truth about his brother, so I decided to help locate him. We do end up finding Cliff, Damien's brother, but not all is as it seems. First, he doesn't look like a hostage, and I was kind of taken aback in a good way that Aiden asked Cliff about Lucas's death.
What I really want to know right now is about the murder of Commander Lucas.
The PK commander? What about him?
Did you or your people kill him?
No fucking way. We're not suicidal.
That's a great detail since Aiden still has to find the killer and anyone could have information. Unfortunately, Cliff is a baddie and he is working for Waltz. We defeat the henchman and Cliff pretty easily, and I'm glad they brought back the spike traps from the first game. Not only is it a brutal way to finish someone, but the sound of it is grueling yet satisfying. Jeez, what's wrong with me? Going back to the Bazaar to tell Damien about his brother, we're told that he's locked himself up in the tower and we'll have to find an unconventional way up. So we pull off our parkour climbing skills and make it to Damien, who is very distressed about his part in sending people to their demise. I wasn't expecting this to end this way, especially in a side quest, but holy hell, will this stay with me for a while.
Fear has always held me back. It held me back from refusing those assholes after they took my brother. It held me back from telling those doomed guys to run like hell instead of sending them to their deaths. I won't be held back anymore, Aiden. I won't hold myself back. Check it out! No!
You can't load saves to try out different variations, and this is how it went for me. As devastating as this was, I also thought about the notion that the developers named him Damien. Was this just an Omen reference? Also, you'd think Aiden would have some emotional reaction after watching someone take their own life, but nope, we're back to blandness.
Seen a dog anywhere? Pretty big, thick black fur, chases balls like a puppy, but he's pretty old actually.
Nope. I haven't seen any dogs around here.
I won't harp on it too much because it's what I expected after the masterclass of Crane not having any change in their voice apart from some key moments or big events. But maybe, just maybe, Aiden could have had a bit more, I don't know, emotion. It kind of reminded me of the male voice actor for V in Cyberpunk. You could go from a huge chase and see Jackie dead to baseline in 30 seconds. Anyways, nothing happened to waiting out the time of the ambush, and we're set to figure out what happened to the group that were trying to give the warlords their tribute money. There is a stealth system in the game, and I'm assuming at higher difficulties it's more useful. I did try it out here, but smacking things was way too much fun, so I rarely used it. While searching for the crystals and Carl, who was apparently part of the party, were rudely interrupted by this big boy, and I was happy to see more variations from the zombies. They even have elemental abilities later in the game with unique visuals that I liked. Aiden meets up with Sophie overlooking the bandit camp they think the hostages are in, and we get another flashback memory from Aiden's time in the lab, just to remind everyone that we are searching for Mia. Sophie has a monologue about all the people that have died trying to pay tribute to the warlords, but like, if Barney hadn't gone behind her back and took that group out, they wouldn't be dead, yet she never blames her brother. Before we make the assault on the compound, Ador radios us to say to meet him on some nearby rooftop. Even though he does say to be secretive, I'm pretty sure all the Bazaar people can see us talking. Ador claims that the Bazaar crowd are starting to suspect that we're a double agent, which he claims puts us in danger. He also insinuates that Sophie is someone that we shouldn't fight with, for our own sake, but like, dude, she hasn't done shit except talk and make others do the heavy lifting. I didn't know who to trust, but my only inclination so far was to get on the PK's good side to gain access to the tunnel and find Mia, which influences the next set of choices. I know a lot of people love this type of gameplay, something I call, in my old-ass mind, the Far Cry experience. Huge compound, lots of guards, and some mechanic to take it over. However, I think it does more harm than good in Dying Light 2 because of the pacing. The start of the game was polished, there were action sequences mixed with narrative that blended well together, and I do think there is something to say for being able to use your upgrades and skills in large arenas, but you have that opportunity going from point A to point B. It's like the windmills, the first couple are interesting and seem innovative, but when you do it for the 10th time, I just can't see a reason other than filling the space. We maim and murder like 30 bandits and clear out the camp. Find Carl tied up in some random room, and Aiden calls up Sophie, who doesn't answer, and Carl tells us to go to the Tango Motel, which is some hideout or something. Getting there, we get a call from Hakon, who says he heard some weird noises coming from the motel and tells us there might be a trap. After Ador planted the seeds of the Bazaar thinking I was a double agent, and me not wanting to get knocked out for the 5th time, plus being presented with the choice of entering the hotel or going back to the PK base, I chose the PKs. I would be interested in hearing if you chose the other path and what happened. Ador explains that we'll need to take over the water tower in order to strong-arm the Bazaar into giving up information about Lucas's death. Trouble is, if the Bazaar or the Warlord's henchmen see a mass of PKs about to storm it, the two factions would start a war, and Jack and Joe, the names of the Warlords currently controlling the tower, might set off explosives, leaving everyone without the vital resource. I'll strap on my climbing boots.
I don't want to give them an excuse for war. However, if someone took over the tower quietly, it would be a fait accompli.
So you want me to sneak in there?
We traverse the installation defusing bombs somehow and finally get to the top where we find none other than Jack and Joe. I do commend the game for giving these story choices. I think they actually advertised that they were a bigger part of the game, but I didn't remember, which might have been a good thing. These narrative choices do make somewhat of an impact later on, or at least have a secondary effect, but are not groundbreaking. I did like them because I wasn't expecting them.
Don't you get it? If he's a pilgrim, he can get us out. Lead us out of the city to someplace safe. I don't trust that fucker. You don't trust anyone!
We make a deal with Jack and Joe to lead them out of the city in exchange for the control of the tower, and now Aiden has to lead 3 people. Geez, we might be signing checks we can't cash. The brothers also inform us that they told Barney about Lucas coming after him, apparently on some weapons charges, which, okay, doesn't everyone have a weapon here? Regardless, they also mentioned that Barney wanted to start a war with the PKs, so suspect number 1 on Lucas's murder is that douchebag. Aiden also gets the choice on who gets control over the water tower, and even though the Bazaar hadn't done anything wrong to me, except Barney, it seemed like they had no chance of helping me get into the central city, nor was there any mention of it, thus I gave it to the PKs. We don't have any evidence yet, but Hakon suggests going to the motel to search Barney's hideout, and we make our way there. Behind a horribly obvious wooden board, Aiden finds a torn out wall with, you guessed it, the carved skin of Lucas. But I also thought finding that was way too easy. Plus, Hakon mentioned he would go to the motel first to check if it was safe, and from Barney's reaction to us accusing him, something felt fishy. We fight Barney and knock him out. Ador walks in with Hakon and the PKs, taking Barney to what I presume is a holding cell. With the killer likely in custody, Ador says he'll fulfill his end of the bargain and to meet him back at headquarters. Barney is getting interrogated, but is still adamant that he wasn't the one to kill Lucas, even if we know that he knew about his arrest warrant. Ador tells Barney that he'll stand trial and probably will be executed, which, sheesh, maybe the PKs aren't so good. Before we leave the room, Ador gives us a note to deliver to his wife and kids in Central, and I like this moment because it adds on to his character.
You don't have anyone you trust more to handle this for you?
Maybe I don't.
He's trying to fill the role of a commander that seemed to rule with an iron fist or brass knuckles, but also tries somewhat to do the right thing, or at least pick the smallest consequences. Hakon accompanies us on our journey to Central, and I was kind of happy he was with us, since these tunnels can feel extremely claustrophobic. Also, of course, things don't go exactly to plan.
What the hell was that?
Nothing good, I bet.
Do we wait?
We need to press on. All the ventilators are shut down, and without them we won't survive here long.
After fixing the generator, which again I think is just filler, we make it to one of the main stations, and Hakon has this interesting line about the graffiti on the wall.
What is that?
John Michael Novak.
What?
An old friend of mine. You can find his graffiti all over town. Cool stuff. There should be one more over here.
You hear that?
Nah, you're hearing things.
It's these moments that give weight to the game, not just detouring to fix some generator to add time. Unfortunately, the two are separated by something or someone closing the gate, and my suspicions about Hakon started to rise when he demands the GRE key, saying that it could unlock the doors. Maybe.
Alright, fine. Here.
I checked the nearest hatch. I will get out. Cabby's word.
Hakon? Hakon? Hakon, where are you? Don't leave me here. Motherfucker.
Hakon scurries away and Aiden has to fend off waves of zombies, which was easy since you could just perch up on the lighting fixture and kick these buggers off, which honestly was very satisfying and made me yearn for the dropkick, which was just a few levels away. While reenacting 300, Anderson, one of Ador's lieutenants, somehow has found us and inexplicably has C4, which we could use to escape. Awesome. So we rush our butts out of there, see a ladder, and are you kidding me?
And here's the second piece of shit.
That's knockout number 5. Firstly, how the hell did Barney escape from the PKs? How did he know where to find us? He has a line going, wherever Hakon is, we're not far behind. But, my brother in Christ, Hakon left us, you dolt. And how would he have known that we were taking the tunnels if he was being interrogated? Frustration and confusion levels are elevating. Even worse is that he has this villain monologue, but why didn't he just kill us on the spot outside the metro? He also accuses us of stealing the water, which, like, dude, we took over the water tower and didn't choose you. But it was Jack and Joe controlling it. The one redeeming quality of this dialogue is that even at this point, Barney denies killing Lucas, and after Hakon's disappearing act and his availability to plant the skin before we got there, I'm pretty sure Hakon did it. Why? No idea. Also, I have no idea other than not ending the story here that Barney literally frees us from the chair to fight us, yet got his ass beat back in the hideout. Why even do this? We easily take out Barney and his goons, but discover that who I believe to be the Bazaar group has blown up the windmill, causing the power outage that trapped us in the metro and Anderson, who is stuck in some elevator. With more plugging electrical plugs into generators, we get the thing working again, but we're too late to save her. Oh, that's it? Okay, on to the next part. Aiden radios Ador, who says that he's sending troops to the windmill to get the electrical back, but I kid you not, there is no mention of Barney escaping or being let go or whatever happened to him. It's like that part didn't happen, and no, yeah, the confusion hasn't even started yet. On top of Barney's magical teleportation act, Hakon answers his radio and says that the people from the Bazaar, quote, have gone totally apeshit and are massacring the PKs. I'm sorry, what? The people that we were told wouldn't last another month that were huddling in their church and getting cut up at every turn have somehow done a 180 and can take the PKs, nay, massacre them? Raise this to 11. Aiden meets up with Hakon at the workshop, but we can't have any dialogue about why he upped and left us, and we don't have time because this happens.
And where are we, Calm down, just let me see.
While tending to Hakon's wound, we see he has the marks from the Lazarus, and Aiden finally understands that Hakon was the actual murderer. Even more dramatic is that Hakon admits to working with Waltz, who asked Hakon to kill the PK commander. Hakon does give us back the key and tells us he was supposed to meet Waltz at some car factory. I did take pity on him and remember that he saved us in the beginning, so I chose to save him in this instance, but wouldn't trust him for the foreseeable future. Also, who shot those arrows at us? We set out for the shooter, and I really like this sequence. You have to use cover to avoid the shots and do some pretty fun parkour to reach the roof.
Gotcha, fucker. What?
Wait, is that Rosario Dawson, the actress from such movies as Sin City, Men in Black 2, and the acclaimed 2006 American black comedy film written and directed by Kevin Smith? What? For some reason, she doesn't shoot us, and why do we care if she's hunting Hakon? We just learned that he was working with Waltz.
Who's this about killing Lucas, or?
Tell Hakon that it's not over yet.
Hey, wait. Ah.
Speaking of our main villain that has had only 2 minutes of screen time, Hakon explains that the renegades have been appearing more around the city and that they are under the control of Waltz. Waltz does get his time to shine, sort of, but I did like how Rise had a lot more screen time in Dying Light 1. Waltz is like a distant memory to me at this point. Regardless, Aiden contacts Ador, tells him that Hakon was the murderer, and still we have no idea how Barney got out of jail. Ador, instead of completing our deal, says that he wants to try to capture Waltz because he is a renegade or some stupid nonsense, and tells us that he'll bring a team to detain him. Like, what? Isn't there a massacre happening to your soldiers, Ador, that you should be dealing with? Not chasing after a veiny man with villain energy? So we make it to the tunnel which leads into the car factory, turn on some more sets of generators, and talk with Ador and his company about the situation.
Ader! The Metro base, it's under attack. It's the Bazaar.
Okay, again, how the hell are the Bazaar people winning the fight against the PKs? They don't even allude to some massive weapon stash or plan on taking them on. If this is explained in the other path, if you chose Sophie, please let me know, because this boggled my mind.
Get the power back on. Probably blew a fuse. There must be a fuse box here somewhere.
Oh, wouldn't you know? Let's find another fuse box because the power is out. Great. The only redeeming quality of this section were the interiors, which really reminded me of Fallout, Stalker, Metro, and their beautiful textures and environmental storytelling. But it only lasts for a second.
Someone was here. They yanked out the cord. Someone's been this way. Who else would have the skills to get past that?
Aiden, you couldn't possibly think of one person that could have those skills? Maybe it's the person you're literally trying to search for. Good God. Ador and company radio in saying they're being attacked by Waltz, but then somehow have him on his knees when we get there. I did enjoy Waltz taunting Ador about the benefits of killing Lucas, but then we get this wild slow-mo action piece of him just beating the crap out of the PKs.
Give back the key, boy, or you will all die.
Fuck! Pepper! What are you waiting for? Kill it!
Did you see that? Wait, rewind. Enhance. What was the move Waltz just pulled on Ador? He kicked him in the stomach? Remember that. Also remember that Waltz calls Aiden a boy, quote, a precious little boy, which I would understand if Waltz knew who we were, but the next scene with him, he doesn't. So Waltz just calls people little boys? What's going on? And that's number 6 on the knockout chart. Aiden wakes up to renegades searching the bodies, and then we turn into a beast? Raise the meter. I also checked in on Ador to see if I could wake him up, but he's dead? Like he took one hit to the stomach and he freaking died? All the PKs that fought Waltz are dead? Aiden chases Waltz down now that he has the key, and we make it to the car factory. I'm sorry, sir, you only knocked us out and didn't confirm the kill. Waltz sees Aiden's markings from the experiment and then realizes that he was one of the test subjects. So why did he call us a little precious boy before?
And now, you will witness history in the making.
History? 5 years old? You torture kids. We were kids.
You were part of something greater. You owe it to me that you are still alive. That you are stronger than others, special. That you are stronger than I could have imagined. Yet not as strong as me. Any last words?
What have you done to my sister?
Sister?
What have you done to Mia?
Aiden, you're alive.
Okay, very interesting, and the intrigue meter moves up. This was an awesome moment that after all that villain crap Waltz has been espousing, especially just now saying we're about to witness greatness, that he is actually taken aback by realizing that it's not just any test subject, but Aiden. Of course, this moment, which I wish there was some dialogue or explanation to what we've been told, is cut short by Rosario Dawson, the famed actress from titles like The Zookeeper and The Rundown, hitting Waltz with some arrows causing him to transform. Again, these chase sequences are some of the best sections the game has to offer. There isn't anything quite like it except from the Trolls section in Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. That was a reference to my Dying Light retrospective. Hearing Waltz close behind while you have to navigate a completely unknown layout had my heart racing and my palms clamming up. Waltz falls into the blackness and Rosario Dawson shares with Aiden that they were both test subjects of Waltz. Aiden explains that he's looking for Mia and she could give less of a shit. What she does care about is her hit list. You guessed it, a list of people she wants killed, including Hakon and Waltz. Which, damn, Hakon, what did you do to this person? Oh, knockout or blackout number 7, fantastic. Even crazier is that when you wake up, Rosario Dawson says, "I thought you were gone. You were right in front of us." We use the GRE to get past a locked door, which transitions into a dialogue between the two about Dylan, the guy who gave us the key, and guess what? Rosario Dawson is Lawan. Bum bum.
Maybe we were meant to meet each other. The universe brought us together for some fucked up reason.
What?
I am Lawan. Dylan wanted to contact Frank. He said the PK commander, Lucas, found something. Something Walt's been looking for a long time. He wanted to escape the city so that Waltz wouldn't get it.
The GRE key? I have it now.
Probably. Lucas died because of this gizmo. Dylan too. Watch out. Or you'll be next.
Well, after all of this, we've reached the center of the city, and by golly, the electricity is working again. Maybe that's what Waltz was doing at the car factory. There is a complete tonal change from Lawan after the electricity moment, and she talks to Aiden like they've been friends for ages. But the electricity is short-lived, and we have another point A to point B to fix whatever the hell is happening to the power.
We'll meet you there, dumbass.
Something's wrong.
No. Oh, no. No!
I don't even know why Aiden wants to go to the fisheye anymore, since that was the place he was meant to find Lawan, but he's already found her. Regardless, we do get a paraglider, which was a cool instrument. I just really wanted my grappling hook. Praise it, praise it. On our way to the substation, Lawan explains what Night Runners are, or were, some group of parkour enthusiasts that helped the population of Villedor. It seems like they're not a group anymore, but it was mentioned that Hakon was part of them at one point. So Aiden makes his way into the substation, we get our third iteration of the windmill, you have to solve a puzzle using the electrical cords, and I wasn't too enthusiastic about it, but it wasn't horrible. At least you had to think about how you got the cords from point A to point B, and I chuckled that it was like some metaphor for the quest design. We get to choose which faction gets the substation, and at this point, why not pick the PKs even if the first survivor unlock were ziplines, which sounded cool. We finally make it to the fisheye, and wow, this place isn't half bad. Aiden meets with Daynor, sorry I'm butchering that, one of Lawan's friends who says we have to power up more substations. Oh the joy, in order for the power to be fully functional. We also have to meet Frank, a former Night Runner who might have information on Waltz or why he turned on the power, but he is completely boozed up after a mission gone wrong. Frank also mentions that the GRE key probably can be used with one of their databases which might have information on Mia or her fate, but that he has no idea where one would be. Our conversation is cut short by renegades attacking the fisheye, and after dealing with their handmade mortars, which was a good way of making the player use the paraglider to reach them, we're saved by Jack Matt, the leader of the PKs.
Everyone all right? Check who needs help and bring in some medics.
Jack asks us if we know anything about Ador, and this is Aiden's response.
I also lost contact with the new commander, Ator, and his unit. Know anything about them?
We found Waltz, but he overpowered us and escaped.
What? Where?
In the tunnels, near the car plant. Waltz decimated Ador's squad. I barely managed to escape.
Decimated, implying that Ador is dead. Remember this. Remember this. Jack also gives Aiden some orders to deliver to someone named Roe, and we head over to this island. The orders are for the PKs to retreat, meaning that all these farmers and people won't have defenses against renegade attacks or zombies, which sucks. And my view of the PKs have dimmed slightly. Off to point B, which has some scared PK tell us Roe is at point C. We head over there, and goodness gracious, it might not seem bad in video form, but at this point I was hoping for some depth in the quests other than to take an item or find a person from place to place, or God forbid, another generator. I will say that Central Villedor is an awesome map, filled with so many movement areas and places to explore you could easily spend 50 hours getting 100% of the unlocks. There weren't a lot of interiors that blew my mind, mostly when a quest had you going into a specific building, but there was enough on the streets that had me satiated. Aiden and Lawan catch up to Ro and ask him about the GRE database, which he exclaims that there was one at the Observatory, but it was destroyed in a chemical attack years ago. We can talk to Lawan after Ro, and she explains that the Butcher, or Williams, I wonder what his real name is, somehow was the one who caused the chemical bombings and is now the leader of the Renegades. So I guess him and Waltz are allies. At this point in the gameplay, we've unlocked the jump kick, and oh boy, is this one of the best attacks in the game. Not only does it sometimes one-shot renegades or zombies if they hit their head too hard, but the weight of the physics gets a check mark in my mind. Also, are we ever going to get turning into a beast explained? Like, I guess it's because of the experiments, but like, that just happens and nothing for the last hour and a half, not even talk about Aiden's infection progressing? What are the rules? Aiden does accept a side quest to help the island group fend off renegades now that the PK left them, and it ends up culminating with meeting Elias, some former lawyer turned renegade that explains that the master, Waltz, has freed the minds and bodies of the renegades by gifting them his power, so more test subjects. Aiden calls them juicers and we take them out. I then proceeded to do 3 hours of side content which had no bearing on anything other than unlocking guns that seemed dismally underpowered and trying to find an undercover PK agent in the Renegades that just turned out to be a renegade. Finding Night Runner safe houses and turning on windmills wasn't the most engaging gameplay, but it very much helped during the nighttime, and I liked how player agency on changing the map or unlocking these zones had an impact on the gameplay. Jack Matt radios us saying Ro told him about the observatory and that he's sorry it's burned in chemical waste. Now going over the footage, I don't know why we had the quest marker telling us to go there, but we did, and Aiden tries to explore the facility, which goes about how well you think it would. What are we on, number 8? I'm losing count.
Hey, Major Matt. Aiden here.
Aiden, good to hear you, son.
You said maybe you could help me out. I'd like to ask how.
Not over the radio. Come to the ship, to the main HQ. I'll be there soon myself.
All right.
What the?
Aiden wakes up not at the observatory alongside 10 plus zombie bodies. Did he go beast mode and we missed it? Gosh darn it. We also get a call from Jack Matt to find him at the PK headquarters, which was my favorite level in the game. The PK headquarters is a gigantic ship, and if you were questioning how the PKs could support or house their soldiers, well, here you are. I also questioned how they made the posters you see around town, but they even have a shop dedicated to printing, which I thought was a neat touch. But before we could explore the ship, Jack Matt comes in running with a stretcher, and it's frickin' Ador? Maybe we don't have to deliver the letter to his wife and children, but also, how the hell did he survive? Or better question, how is he not dead? Didn't we check to see before going after Waltz? I needed to know how he survived or what happened to him after leaving him in the tunnel, so I was happy that a side quest popped up leading me to the medical bay. There we meet his wife and 2 children. Sorry, I know this is a personal time, but I do have this letter from your husband. Oh, no option for that? Why did they even give us this goddamn letter? Ador's wife doesn't want the doctor to use some Eastern medicine on him, but I guess that's all the PKs have. The doctor explains that the herbs growing from the chemical waste have healing properties, and at this point, fuck it, okay, what do I need to get? The doctor points us in the direction of a healer and we head off, even though the healer's husband doesn't want us to help the PKs, and for good reason we'll learn later on. We did help defend the island in that side mission and are told we need to pick herbs at nighttime, but not the big petals, those will kill him. Are we sure these are medicinal? After running around like a chicken with its head cut off, we get the petals and bring it back to the ship.
We're losing him. Aiden, give me those herbs.
I forbid it! Keep that witch's poison away from him!
I can give him an injection to stabilize him, but it won't last long.
Did you tell her who the medicine was for? She killed his men! She should have hanged for that, but Jack Mack had Ator burn her eyes out instead!
What?
Did you tell her? She'll have given you poison, I guarantee it!
Aiden, give me the herbs, damn it.
Oh, That's why the healer didn't have eyes. Damn. The medicine works somehow and Ador stabilizes. I kind of wish we could have talked to him or had another interaction, but nope, that's it for his character. It gives me a good segue into what the hell is the point of the characters we meet in the beginning. Either they're killed off, put in a coma, or screw off, like it's been 5 hours of gameplay since we've heard from Hakon, and instead of trying to get through Frank's boozed up persona, at least we knew Hakon worked with Waltz, maybe he would know something. Back with Jack Matt, he tells us that old Villedor has been ransacked and the PKs have lost their position. Again, how was the Bazaar so powerful that they took control? We didn't even give them the damn water tower, which is under control of the PKs at this point. Jack also says that the Butcher and Renegades are starting to run rampant in Central, plus they're planning something big. What that is, no idea. Jack does want to know what we want with the GRE database, and after explaining to another character for the 18th time we're searching for our sister, he says that Williams, the Butcher, and Waltz are two peas in a pod, making them a common enemy. Jack also says there are still former GRE scientists still left in the city, but they're either hiding or disguised because the population would probably kill them if they knew their background. And we're going to have to scratch Matt's back if we want information on those scientists, and his plan sounds a bit crazy. There is a huge building at the center of the city called the VNC Tower, and on top of it is a radio broadcasting system that Matt says would help spread the word of the PK's position and increase recruitment. So I guess we have to scale 130 floors. But before we can take the tower, we need to find UV lamps to help protect ourselves, and another fetch mission is on the horizon. This is when I was getting frustrated with the pacing of the game, just when things were getting intriguing, like Waltz realizing that Aiden was the one who stole the key, or Hakon double-crossing us. It just gets cut by these fetch missions or running halfway across town just to be sent on, you guessed it, another fetch mission. This time we have to talk to Juan about the UV lamps, and he's a character. He doesn't want to help us unless we have something to offer him, and Luan gives us a clue that some Polish art collector could have something interesting in his apartment. That's very specific. We comb the apartment and discover that the guy, even though he had a private helicopter en route during the collapse, did not make it. But he did leave us some good vodka and whiskey. Yes, sir. The vodka we give to Dainur, Luan's friend from earlier, for his birthday, and we do get some good exposition on Luan's backstory and having a meaningful moment with Ro.
Who was Ro before he became a tough-as-nails peacekeeper?
A father and a husband.
You were a father?
I lost my kids at the beginning of all this. I tried to save them. I almost did, but at the end, I was the only one who survived. Now I'm alive, with regrets.
But that's short-lived. We head back to the ship, deliver the whiskey to Juan, get told that the group was delivering the UV lamps but hasn't radioed in for a while, search for that group, get attacked by a big guy, save the group. No, that's not the right group, find the next group, ask about the lamps, are told they're on top of a building. This was an hour of gameplay I condensed into a run-on sentence. We finally get the UV lamps after a kind of cool cutscene and fight and return to Juan with the goods. With the PKs having the UV lamps, Jack is ready to formulate the plan on taking the VNC Tower, which we tell Luan about, and she isn't happy. It turns out that the mission that went horribly wrong and turned Frank into an alcoholic was at the VNC Tower, which is filled with tons of zombies and even variations no one's seen before. You do get the option to talk to Frank before heading over to the tower, but he only says it will be a bloodbath and that we'll die. Well, thanks, dude. We meet up with Ro on the bottom floor, and he says that his team is trying to locate the power generator to turn on the elevators, and I swear to God, I don't want to hear about generators anymore. I'm going crazy. Generators are making me crazy. Well, we have to help turn on the generators, oh god damn it, and find out quickly that the building is a death trap. There is one redeeming moment before the final ascension where our team has a Stalker-esque nighttime drink and a guitar sesh. But this isn't even the Stalker reference I was referring to in the beginning. Oh my god, how long have I been talking? That feels like 10 days ago. Fever dream. No, the goddamn Stalker reference that isn't even a reference but kind of just taken from the game is Ro mentioning X-13. I'm sorry, what?
Then, when I questioned a renegade officer, he babbled something about GRE facilities they're trying to locate. Didn't make much sense if you ask me. X-13 or something like that. But I'm worried what they're planning.
X-13. I've heard about that place before.
Oh yeah? What did you hear?
I know that Waltz is hunting for it as well. Any idea where it could be?
Well, if it's real, it could be a GRE complex. Top secret. Well hidden.
We'll see about that.
Careful, Wispowski.
Looks clear.
So the team gets wiped out by boomers, no, not your grandfather, and Aiden calls Lawan in for help while killing hordes of zombies. Oh, beast mode again, for no reason or prelude. Like, what the hell is this? Blackout number 9. Frank communicates to us through the radio saying that if Lawan gets hurt trying to save us, that it's on us. I should have wrote that better. And at this point, I just don't care. I don't care who lives or dies. I kind of care about finding Waltz Mia, but eh. But then the game really throws you into the pits of hell. Frank mentions that there was some leftover Night Runner gear, and I was so excited. Was this the grappling hook I've been waiting for? Well, it was a grappling hook, but not the one from the first game. Why would they change the functionality of this? I have no idea, but the new grappling hook sucks. It's stupid and I hate it. You can sort of carry your momentum, but it usually is just slow and cumbersome if you miss the timing of the jump. There is no fun in having a grappling hook that doesn't defy physics, and I will die on this hill. Even with the major disappointment of the grappling hook being nerfed, this was a fun sequence, and hearing Frank's tone change from depressed alcoholic to I want to make a hopeful radio station was kind of nice.
Where? On top of the building? You motherfucker. I didn't fucking believe you'd make it. But holy shit, you will.
What were you after? On your mission?
Radio New Hope. Imagine. Messages of peace and unity. Bringing people together. Giving them hope.
Aiden finally makes it to the top and we're confronted by the choice of Radio New Hope or PK Recruitment Station. I chose Frank's radio and we get this nice scene after Matt's pissy radio communication about how we double-crossed him or something. At least people have music now.
Good day, Villedor. Frank is back, and I've got some more exciting news for you. Blankets, food, and drinking water are being collected in the canteen. All those in need can report to Nicholas. Stay tuned, and I'll be back soon with another message of hope.
How are we going to find the scientists? No idea. You would think that Aiden would try to find that answer, but instead we go on a mission with Lawan to find her shoes? I'm not joking, we have to find her shoes in her apartment. I think they only did this so Aiden could find the picture under her bed that shows why she wants to kill Hakon. They dated. Save me from this game. Lawan gets angry that we snooped through her stuff even though she asked us to go into her apartment, and we have to play chase across a dozen rooftops to talk with her. There is a will they won't they moment which I did not care about at all. Jump to the next day and Frank says he might have some information that could help us find the GRE database. Turns out that the radio frequency we're using to broadcast his new radio show, that's a hit by the way, also eavesdrops on the Renegades and their radio network. He's intercepted communications about Waltz also trying to find the database, and if we hack into more towers we can piggyback on their discovery. Frank also wants us to talk to Lawan about becoming a Night Runner and getting the gang back together, but also wants her to forego her hit list as a final test to see if she's ready to join the ranks, but that will come later. First, the radio hacking. The Butcher is up to something from the first radio frequency we intercept, but it doesn't make sense to Aiden or Frank why he would be evacuating his stronghold other than a plan to back up chemicals into the city, destroying everything. The two need to get to the next tower, but the Renegades have caught on and laid out a trap. Oh, we're a beast again, yay. Knocked out number 10. Frank finds us because of a tip he got, and Aiden tells him that the Renegades were talking about the GRE doctor from the Bazaar, which Frank will check in on. Even odders that the tip came from Hakon, who wants to meet with us. Oh wow, I hope he's doing well, it's been so long. Aiden goes to the meeting spot with Hakon, some creepy church, and at least he references it's been a while.
Why did you want to meet, Hakon?
Why not? It's been a while. Looks like you've made some new friends.
Good gracious, who wrote this? Hakon asks for the key, which we deny him, and I could only think why he didn't just run off with the key after the metro. Even if he trusted Aiden to lead him out, why would he trust Aiden over Waltz at the beginning? Why not ask Aiden how he got into the bazaar in the first place? He's a former night runner. What we traverse would be nothing to him. Frustration and confusion rise. The only thing keeping me from F4ing was X13 and Waltz's true intentions. After some more fighting, Hakon tells us that he left Lawan and the Night Runners to protect them from Waltz, saying Waltz would have killed her. But then he says that after the fiasco at the VNC Tower, he left to spy against Waltz, which is when Waltz threatened to kill Lawan. So that doesn't make sense. He left to protect them from Waltz, but Waltz only threatened Lawan because Hakon had left to spy on him. What is going on? We finally defeat Hakon, and even though Aiden has a pretty hard time figuring out who's dead or just knocked out, I'm pretty sure Hakon is dead.
I'm taking that key, Aiden.
Oh my god, I want to throw my keyboard.
Stop, Hakon. You're in no condition to fight.
We'll soon find out, won't we?
Hakon, talk to me. This doesn't make sense. This doesn't make sense.
Lawan joins this moment, but Aiden convinces her not to take Hakon's life, and I guess she passed Frank's test of letting go of the hit list. Hakon cleans himself up, and everyone rejoices at the fisheye, while I slowly die from my temperature being above 110.
Where'd that come from?
I've kept it with me all along, Frank. So what will it be, Chief?
If Lawan can forgive you, I guess I have no choice.
Not a ringing endorsement, but I'll take what I can get.
Good. Now, this is Lawan's time, not yours. Step back and shut up.
After the celebrations, which seemed odd since Waltz was actively looking for this GRE doctor and we just spent the night drinking, Aiden, did you forget about Mia? Frank says he knows where to find the GRE doctor, a Veronica Ryan, at the Bazaar, and we head back to Old Villedor. Getting to the Bazaar, the place is destroyed. We find Sophie badly wounded and she is not happy with us.
Who did this?
You. You. And the Peacekeepers. Your friends.
But what happened to them, quote, massacring the PKs to begin with after the water tower?
Why did you even come here?
I'm looking for Dr. Veronica Ryan.
Well, then you're a lucky son of a bitch. She survived.
Where is she now?
Why would I tell you?
Sophie, I didn't start this war. I was trying to warn you.
You know what? Okay. That bitch Ryan used to help the PK.
But even with Sophie hating us, she tells us where Veronica is hiding? Why? Did they have no other way of moving this forward? We search the place she told us about, find more survivors. Veronica isn't there, but we do get into radio contact with her and she tells us to go back to Central to the Observatory. So all of the last 30 minutes of getting to Old Villedor was just to be told to go back to Central? Frustration levels are going haywire. Aiden meets with Veronica and explains to the 28th character that he's searching for his sister. Veronica denies involvement in Waltz's program, stating she was only a mid-level doctor, but as the two try the door, the key doesn't work. We'll have to find a way through the main gate. Luckily, the doctor somehow has the booster blockers from 15 years ago that makes us immune to the chemicals for a short amount of time, just enough to get through the deluge of chemical muck and restore the power so she can be let in. We run past more zombies, turn on yet another generator, and finally get into the belly of the secret facility. Again, the only thing making me play now was hoping that the secret facilities had enough chutzpah to make the last 7 hours of gameplay worth it. Because even though I was having fun with all the parkour and fighting, it stayed stagnant and repetitive from the first 15 hours. Going through the facility, Aiden figures out that Veronica wasn't a mid-level doctor, but actually the head of the facility, whoopsies, but wasn't part of his project.
But you knew about the experiments, how they used kids. Me and my sister.
That's why I'm here, Aiden. I cannot forget what we did here. That we let you down. All those kids in pain and no cure to show for it.
Cure? We were 5, for fuck's sake.
Small children showed natural immunity to the virus. We saw a correlation between age, brain development, and infection severity. That's why they were experimenting on you. The GRE, the world, needed you. You You seemed our only hope. I'm sorry.
This would have been interesting to go deeper into, but unfortunately, she doesn't last long. Oh, sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. Finally, we make it to the database room and our questions will be answered. Oh, wait, it's another time puzzle. Ugh.
Veronica, what's going on? Talk to me, Veronica. Are you okay?
Looks like we tripped in a line. Decontamination procedure.
Decontamination procedure? That can't be good.
We find the blocker and the decontamination sequence finishes, leading to the moment of truth. Or more questions. Veronica doesn't find anything on Mia, but our profile has us listed as having an above average tolerance to the substance. And then she checks Waltz's profile, which says he conducted experiments on substance 1354. I swear, if this is just another dead end, I'm really throwing my keyboard out the window. Thankfully, it isn't the case. Veronica says that even though the tests were shut down as well as X13 11 years ago, that another procedure has been initiated in X10 recently. Geez, they really just pulled this from Stalker. But before we can look through more of the data or even acknowledge that Mia wasn't a patient of the experiments, we get an intruder alert and have to deal with more renegades. I'm assuming they used the elevator that Veronica did, but wouldn't they have needed the booster? After a quick head bashing, we get back to Veronica, who says the points shown on the map data weren't research facilities but targets for a missile strike. And then she says there's some failsafe protocol. Like, what? One of the targets is the fisheye, or at least close to it. Aiden calls up Frank, who's quick to act, but of course there are more renegades, which we have to bash their heads in again. I feel like I'm going in circles, holy moly. This time when coming back to Veronica, she's nowhere to be found, and radios us saying she got claustrophobic in that area. Well, I don't know how a vent would be any better. Aiden gets to her and finds Waltz choking her out, demanding the key. Wasn't the last time we saw Waltz when Lawan shot him and he fell into the darkness, or am I going crazy? We get another chase from Waltz. Yes, another chase sequence.
Veronica, get away!
Fucking key! Give it to me!
Just run, I'll stop him. Why do you need this key, fucker? What have you done with Mia?
Poor little boy.
What have you done with my sister?
She's long gone.
No. I'll kill...
Blackout number 11.
You should have died years ago.
Now note that he says that we should have died years ago and that Mia is long gone. Just note it, scribble it down in your notebook, dot it with an I. Also, somehow Veronica made it to the other observatory tower within a minute of this boss fight starting. The only logical explanation would be that Aiden needs to turn into the beast and kill her. Yep, that's what happens. Waltz takes the GRE key, and then we get blown up by the failsafe.
Waltz! What have you done to me?
I showed you the truth. It's too late.
Knockout number 12. Wow, they're really going for the record here. Somehow Aiden awakens to Lawan finding him and tells her what happened. How he is a crazy beast zombie and that she shouldn't be around him. I would have been okay with the already set up bit that Aiden after beast mode ends up somewhere else, like when he woke up with all the zombie bodies surrounding him, but Lawan says she pulled him out of the rubble. I mean, come on, do we need a booster for the chemicals or not? How would Lawan have found his body under a tactical strike? The threads are starting to unravel so much that I don't really know how else this tapestry could come undone. But oh no, they knock that out of the park too. Lawan tells Aiden she can't hunt Waltz on her own and that he was probably lying about Mia being gone. What a hunch. She also says that Frank, Matt, and Juan want to meet with Williams, yeah, the dude nicknamed the Butcher, for some negotiations and that we should go to the fisheye to oversee that. Lawan leaves us by saying no one can know about Aiden killing Veronica, and you know what? No one even mentions the doctor again. I was blown away by the impact the rockets had and thought it was a great touch to have the decimated buildings available to climb on. Getting back to the fisheye, Frank informs us that there will be more missile attacks and the most of Central will be destroyed. Aiden retorts that the Butcher might be lying about that, but Frank thinks it was actually Williams who stopped the failsafe years ago. Since all the other GRE walled cities, excluding Haran, cough cough, got tacticaled. Is that a word? Blackout number 13, and we get a flashback to Adar in the tunnel? Why are they showing this? We get that Aiden's a beast. Even frickin' odder is that the flashback shows Adar waking up and moving away from Aiden. But we checked in on him, and he was laying motionless. Was he just playing dead, or was this just another inconsistency? Frank, Matt, and Juan have their meeting and agree to hear the Butcher's plans, but things hit the fan, and Frank is shot by a poisoned arrow. Oh, you don't look so good, my guy. Matt wants us to go after the Butcher's car, but looking at the arrow, I mean, isn't that the PK's colors? Also, Matt didn't even acknowledge that I used the VNC Tower for Frank, so my guess was this was all a setup. We go back to the healer from before, who says that the Renegades use a different poison variant than the one she smells off the arrow. And then you wouldn't believe what we have to do next. Fetch algae from the bottom of this river. Aiden saves Frank with the antidote, and Matt contacts us saying that he's bribed the Renegade driver to get us into the Butcher's stronghold. But of course it's not straightforward. We have to chase the Renegade van with an exclamation point. So we chase the van all the way to some abandoned department store, which the Renegades use to store their trucks, I guess, but also has zombies and a volatile for some reason. The floorboards break and we have to do yet another chase sequence and kill even more Renegades. It just wasn't fun anymore, it was just repeating the same bit. At least the driver's funny.
I should have never signed up for this. If Williams doesn't kill me, Matt will. I'm so fucked, man. I'm betraying the fucking Renegades, man. Am I high?
Just get me in and you'll be fine.
The Butcher's got me by one bowl and Matt's got the other. And they're fucking playing tug-of-war.
We sneak into the stronghold, and I really wasn't expecting to see it look like any other windmill that we've taken. I didn't even have it in me to stealth and just ran past all these guards. Aiden makes it to the Butcher's room, and who is playing the piano? Is that Mia? Great question, Ben. Sorry though, that's just a misdirection, and we never get to meet or ask who that is.
Hey, she's afraid of you.
Play, Anna. There's nothing to fear.
William, the Butcher, or the subtitles name Colonel, asks where Frank is, and when we tell him that his goon shot him, he is taken aback, saying that he only sent one person, the driver. Matt tries to radio us, but I understand his shtick now. Williams confirms, if we were to believe him, that he was the one who stopped the failsafe protocol 11 years ago, and is also, quote-unquote, not on speaking terms with Waltz. What a way to say that. The Colonel continues explaining that Waltz went even more mad, saying something about a last resort and searching out for X-13. He admits to working with Waltz to enhance his renegades, so this guy is evil. But Waltz took most of his men, and that's why he contacted Frank? So why the hell would anyone work with this dude now? Williams does share with us the location of X-13, and we scrummage through Waltz's notes he left behind, most notably about a patient in his care at Williams' facility that needed something in X-13 to be cured or saved or whatever.
Report 24-2036, 130th day of the year. It's been 6 months since the funds ran out. 20 since any improvement has been seen. Patient unconscious. After administering the compound, blood pressure increased slightly. Noticeable pupil movement. The only chance for progress is to go back to X-13. If the information can be confirmed, and the GRE key has been found by Commander Lucas, there is a chance to further this research. It must succeed at all costs.
We're driven back to Central, and that's knockout number 13 or 14. Who's counting with me? Matt confronts Frank and the new Night Runners. I don't think it's ever explained why Matt double-crossed Frank. Seriously, I want to know, what were his motivations? Hakon joins Aiden to search out for X-13, but as we make it to the door and see Waltz carrying a body, Aiden goes beast mode and wakes up after an undisclosed time.
What was that?
We trace Waltz's footsteps, and are you kidding me? Are you freaking kidding me? This is the secret base with clear lettering marking it X-13? What's going on? Why is my mind melting? Somehow Lawan found us, but Hakon disappeared. She convinces Aiden that she has as much right to get revenge that Aiden does, so we descend. Lawan gets hurt during the short time the two are separated by another door. I mean, Waltz should be the villain, but closing doors really take the first prize in this game. The two discover the GRE's mecca of supplies, but as they enter the second room, we get another slow-mo moment where Lawan takes an arrow to the heart. Does everyone see that? Does everyone agree? We fight yet another round against the renegades, and just let this madness end, please. Somehow she survived and isn't even clutching the area that the arrow hit. Like, she was just hit. Am I taking crazy pills? Can someone explain this to me or commiserate in my misery? Oh, look who it is. Somehow Hakon found us, and then they have a memory lane dialogue? Aren't we literally running out of time from the missiles? Note that Aiden tells Hakon to stay with Lawan, and that she took 2 arrows, so she should be dead or at least bleeding out.
I'm going with him.
No. Get her out of here. You can catch up with me later.
Yes, boss.
Further into the facility, we realize that this is where Aiden and Mia were experimented on, but nothing looks burnt, so was the fire just in our heads? Is the fire in my head? Hakon then radios us the craziest thing anyone has said all game, and genuinely asks if we, Aiden Caldwell, have seen Lawan.
Aiden, have you seen Lawan? What? You were supposed to get her out of here. Oh, shit.
I'm sorry, what, dude? We left you with her not 5 minutes ago. What is going on? Aiden finally makes it to the control room and thinks he sees Mia. He also asks a great question, what is Waltz doing? Which I concur with.
Waltz! What are you doing?
If this is the patient Waltz needed equipment for to save, why are they in the mission control room? Lawan radios us saying she found the missile launchers, but you should be dead. You took an arrow to the heart. Regardless, we're about to get our confrontation with Waltz, and I was desperate for answers. Oh my god, we're not going to get answers, are we?
Enough of this cat and mouse, Aiden. Leave. I don't want to kill you.
You should have died years ago.
Was that Mia? You brought her here?
Yes. Now leave while you still can. That's my last warning.
What is this all about? What do you need Mia for? She's alive?
In a manner of speaking.
But why? Why have you been torturing her like this?
You really don't remember anything, do you?
Why even give us the option to ask about Mia if he won't tell you anything? Oh my god, I'm ripping my hair out right now. Waltz says try to remember, and I swear if this is a broken memory trope, the keyboard is back on the menu. We get a flashback to young Aiden talking to Waltz, and he says she caught the virus, but she hasn't turned into a zombie. Is it a different virus?
That's why she caught the virus. But you can save her, Aiden. Unless, you see, people want to stop my research. They can't see how close we are to finding a cure. Whatever happens, we must.
Whatever happens, we must stick together.
No.
You didn't promise her. You promised me.
No. You tortured us! You were hurting me! And Mia!
No, Aiden. I would never hurt my own child. Mia is my daughter. And you know that.
Oh my god, it's a Darth Vader trope not with the main character? Does this mean that Mia's not even our sister? Okay, there goes the keyboard, script done. So all of the experiments were for a virus that wasn't the zombie mutation? This answers nothing, and then he just goes, you can leave. Motherfucker! Then Waltz says that Mia needs the key, so what are you doing over here? What does the key unlock? Why would us having the key kill Mia? So none of that's answered, and we get one of the worst boss fights in existence, which is in 3 parts. 3 frickin' parts, ending with us going beast mode and just smacking the shit out of Waltz.
Mia, is that you?
Aiden, what happened to you?
Mia, the key. Without it, the city will be destroyed.
Mia, you need your ventilator. I beg you.
It's gone too far.
Mia, hurry!
You need oxygen now. Understand? Without it, I can't cure you.
You've been trying to cure me for years. I don't want it anymore. Save those people, Aiden.
No!
Oh, there goes the key. Aiden helps bring Mia back to mission control and Lawan is near the missiles. Then Aiden has the audacity to reference the bombs we took from the first frickin' water tower that somehow, some way, they would have had on their persons and use them to destroy the missiles before launch?
The missiles.
We can detonate them before they launch with the explosives that we found in that warehouse.
Okay. Okay, that just might work. I'll go after them.
Wait, Lawan, let me...
Stop her, Aiden. She will destroy everything.
Lawan says they need to be blown up manually, and Walt says that if she destroys X-13, everyone Aiden cares about will be lost. But like, dude, the key is gone and you said that was the only thing that could save Mia. You're the guy that experimented on me. I have no idea where Hakon is, and Lawan probably is going to bleed out, so this holds no weight. At this point, I was just trying to feel something, and couldn't even comprehend what this choice actually meant. So I chose to save Lawan. But the game gives you the choice again, like the first time wasn't enough. Hakon somehow appears again, I told you he was a wizard, and says, jot this down, quote, "I'll get your sister out of here." Aiden defies Lawan's request to sacrifice herself for the city, and when we finally catch up to her, he goes beast mode, even if the bracelet stays green for literally the whole game. The two watch the missiles launch, and somehow it takes until morning for them to actually hit the city. Shitty thing, but a cool visual. We get a 2 weeks later bit where Spike, yeah, the guy from the beginning, walks through town, and even though the fisheye survived, there is no one there to populate it. Spike says he has a package for Frank, but it seems from the bartender's response that Frank died or something because Lawan is the leader of the Night Runners. Spike also asks about Aiden, and we get this cinematic.
Where'd he go?
Wherever the road took him. Same as the rest of you.
Did he find what he was looking for here?
In a way. They say he was looking for his sister. But he found someone else. Much closer. And he chose to save her at all costs.
How is Aiden going to survive on the road without anything to stem the infection? No idea. At least Hakon gets his wish to go to the ocean. But wait, where's Mia? Didn't you say you were going to take her with you? What in the holy god was this ending? So let me get this straight. The whole main premise was Aiden trying to find his sister in Waltz. We go through 25 hours of point A to point B and only get maybe 12 minutes of screen time with Waltz and a minute with Mia? Are they even dead? The missiles didn't blow up X-13, so are they still there? Did Waltz die on the bed? If so, Aiden had no response to that at all, and... Alright, I'm just going to stop myself there. I truly enjoyed the first 10 to 15 hours of this game. I did. The parkour was fun, the combat was engaging, but it just became a repetitive slog, getting to a progression point that plateaued. The story, while at first was intriguing and well presented, unraveled slowly and painfully, with the repetitive gameplay trying to make up for it and failing. I had so many more questions finishing the game, but does it matter? Were the writers and developers even aware of the answers? I doubt it. The ending felt good because I don't have to play this game ever again, and that to me is the calmest way of saying my piece. I hope the beast is better. Thank you for watching. I truly appreciate you taking the time to hear my descent into madness, and if you did like the game or even the ending, please let me know why. I really want to know why. Well, Until next time, hope you're doing well.
Keep calm, gentlemen. Oh. Where's Bowski? Fuck.
Sorry, boss. Won't say it, Pete.